That's going to make it so much easier to sync up tonight.
All right.
When I edit it. I'll see 3 giant spikes on all the videos.
Yep.
There it is.
So it's our first show, so we have to work out all the kinks. And man, I'm excited to finally be doing this. We've been talking about it for like
Ever.
what, 2 months now?
About 2 months.
We were supposed to do our first show last week, but Matt here had to go to a city council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull up my calendar if you need.
I can edit my calendar to say I went and saw the president of Brunei the other day. Does it make it real?
We're starting off this podcast, and everybody's going to think I'm a liar now.
They can draw their own conclusions. Don't let us sway you.
Oh, man.
So JMR podcast, that's Josh, myself, Matthew, and Rob. And Matthew is our worship leader at our church here. We're filming in our church. Rob plays the drums.
That thing over there behind the sneeze guard.
I don't think they can see it,
Oh.
Yeah,
but it's that way.
we didn't get a drum shield just to block out noise. Rob is known to sneeze a lot.
Yo.
And with everything going around, might as well.
Look, lack of percussion in our congregation isn't my fault, and so to bring me in on Sundays, putting a sneeze shield around me so that I'm not contagious, that's just doing your part. It's responsibility.
Maybe we should all do that.
So this podcast is going to basically be based around techie things. So new cell phones, new gadgets, tablets, computers.
The occasional car.
The occasional car, video games, and then we also want to sprinkle in some Christ culture stuff. We're not going to be preaching on this podcast. We're not going to be, getting into any of that stuff. But we will talk about Jesus and some cool things regarding him. We have something to talk about in that realm tonight, along with some other things. But I thought for the first show that tonight we would do like a little game. And
I like games. Is there prizes? Is the prize donuts?
The prize was the wallpaper that I downloaded on your iPad.
Oh, so I don't have to play. I already won. Yes, winner.
See, I thought you were going to bring donuts for our first podcast.
That was a good idea. Should have.
Note for the next podcast, we need to have a sign-up sheet for donuts.
Yes.
It's super important.
Matt just volunteered.
Nice, thanks.
I'll do it for the next one.
Right on.
It's on video now, too.
So, the game that I figured we would play, and I'm thinking it'll be harder for us because we know each other somewhat well. This is a game that you usually play with people that you don't know too well. You're just meeting. It's like an icebreaker. But it's called Two Truths, One Lie. So we're each going to tell 3 things, and 2 of them are true. 1 of them is a lie, and we have to figure out which one is which.
For those who don't know the game, you don't tell the two truths and then the lie. It makes it really easy to figure it out. It'd be nice if you sprinkled in the lie somewhere.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Because then you go, but now maybe Rob's trying to use that so we say the lie first.
He could be.
It's kind of like paper, rock, scissors, man. You gotta psych somebody out before you're like 1, 2, 3, shoot. Because what's everybody's favorite? Paper, right?
But now you think I'm gonna pick paper, but maybe I'll pick rock. But man, it just messes with my mind.
Yeah.
I've played some hardcore rock, paper, scissors games with people that thought that same way. Like rock first, or which one do you usually do first?
Paper, rock, scissors.
No, I do rock, paper, scissors. So rock first, then paper, then scissors.
Alphabetical order. PRS. Paper,
No,
rock,
it's
scissors.
always been rock, paper, scissors. for
Yo,
me.
if you watch Big Bang Theory, it's
I do watch Big Bang Theory.
rock, paper, scissors, lizard, spot.
No, because there used to be like, people would take advantage of that game, and they would add in like rock, paper, scissors, and everything. So they'd be like, rock, paper, scissors, and do this. And I'm
Whooping
like,
crane.
Like, what are you doing? I'm God. It's like, what do you mean you're God?
I win. Those are the rules.
It's crazy.
No.
That was more in high school, though.
You can tell them in any order you want. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Do y'all know what yours are?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go first then. All right. So I played soccer in high school. I played a concert with my old band with a nationally touring rock band. And I broke my arm 5 years ago.
I'm going to ring in and say that you did not break your arm 5 years ago.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm probably going to probably have to agree with Rob, that last one.
Okay. Y'all got it right. I did not break my arm 5 years
That's
ago.
what I'm talking about.
But I did play soccer in high school. And I did. Stephen Foster can attest to this. Me and him both did play a show with Fireflight.
See, I know that was the truth because you told me about that before.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Well, dang.
Remember.
That's my go-to when I play this game because usually most people are like, hey, you didn't play no show with a nationally touring band. Well, turns out I did.
This guy.
Right on.
This guy. All right, who's up?
I got this.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
In no particular order, okay?
Okay.
This guy knows how to ice skate backwards.
That's gotta be the lie.
I think that bacon is not better with everything. Blasphemy, I know. And I love banana pancakes better than any other flavor pancake.
All right, I'm going with the bacon. I'm going with
the
the
banana
bacon.
pancakes because he said that, and he was probably doing that reverse psychology thing. So I'm going with the banana pancakes because
Because it was last?
and you also sounded overly excited about it. So it either means you're like him too much to
Dude, he's good at
control
this.
your excitement, or you're trying to influence us to think that's the truth. And I think that's what you would do. So
Are you like a psychoanalyst for the CIA? I know
I'm
that you
just
can't
trying
say
to
it, but
win.
did I blow your cover?
I'm just trying to win.
I totally can ice skate backwards. I love ice skating. You go down to the RDV Sportsplex in Maitland, and they have open
fun.
skate.
We used to go
It's
all the time.
super fun. I honestly and truly do not think that bacon is better on everything.
Oh man.
Maple bacon donuts, horrid.
Those are good. Are you
That
kidding
doesn't
me?
sound
The
too good.
maple's awesome, but then you put the bacon on the top, and like I
That's
don't.
the cherry on top.
That whole salty sweet thing doesn't do it for me, dude. I hate bananas. Banana bread, banana pancakes. Like,
Wait a minute.
Like
I knew that. I already knew you didn't
Rhonda
like
makes
bananas.
banana pancakes, and she like throws the smallest amount of
like
banana in, and I'm
bananas.
like, these things are horrible. She's like, did you taste the banana? I'm like, it's all I can taste.
You told me.
So you gave us 2 lies.
No, I said I think bacon is not better on everything. That's true. I don't think bacon's better on everything.
I was thinking
It's
that
like
you
a
did.
double negative.
No, I thought you told me like 3 weeks ago that you didn't like bananas.
We're not even friends if you can't remember that, dude. Come on.
Oh
No,
no.
that's terrible.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll forgive you this time. You downloaded me a cool background thing. It made me feel better that my iPad's just as cool as your iPad, even though my graphics look like doo-doo.
I got an old iPad Mini too. So.
Is that a lie or is that your
Is
truth?
that your lie? You don't have an iPad Mini too.
All right. So I got an iPad Mini 2. That's my first one. My second one is when I was younger, I was stung by a poisonous caterpillar and had to go to the ER. And my last one is I played baseball in the 4th grade.
Wait, can you do that one more time? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I forgot what I said.
See,
it's
they were
all
all
lies.
lies. They were all lies. That's why I asked them
Busted.
that.
No, I'm kidding. So the first one is I have an iPad Mini 2 that is not superior to y'all's. My second one was I was stung by a poisonous caterpillar and had to go to the ER. And my third one was that I played baseball in the 4th grade.
Okay, hold up. We've seen his iPad, and it's a
Yeah.
Mini.
You can think though, is it the 2
That's
or
what-
is it the
that's-
4?
that's the thing.
Does it have Touch ID or not?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I know So I know he has an iPad Mini, but does he have? Which one did you say it was?
2. Now is it white or is it black? Because
It's white. I know it's white.
Man.
So
It's white.
who knows?
The caterpillar story is real. I've heard you tell me the caterpillar story. Or that was your lie when we had men's group one day, and I was like, dude, that's a really good lie.
I'm going with the iPad. I think you have. I know you have an iPad Mini, but I don't think it's an iPad Mini 2.
Okay.
I'm going to go against better judgment and say that you did not play baseball in the 4th grade. Don't know why. I'm going to use your psychology and say because it was last, boom.
Are you some like FBI psychoanalyst or something, Rob?
I
Am
cannot
blowing your
confirm
cover?
nor deny. But I may not be here on Thursday when you need me.
Oh no. All right, so the lie was I played baseball in the 4th grade. Didn't
this
play baseball
guy.
in 4th grade. I have an iPad 2. It's old as all get out, super slow. I traded you guys remember the DJI Osmo? I think it's the Osmo. It's like a gimbal. It's a 3-way powered gimbal, and you can slide your phone into it, and then like it makes your footage super duper smooth.
Totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So DJI made one. I bought one of those. I used it like for a week and never used it again. And somebody offered me an iPad 2 for it back when the latest iPad was the iPad 3.
Bro, I did something like that long time ago. My first iPhone, my first one, it was the iPhone 3GS. I think I was like 22, 21, 22 years old. I didn't have no money, didn't have no way of buying my own phone or whatever. And I mean, I could have, but I just didn't have the funds at that point. So I went on Craigslist, and I found a guy that was willing to trade his iPhone 3G. No, it was a 3G. It wasn't even a 3GS. It was a 3G. I traded. I don't even remember all the things, but I know there was a TV involved. So a TV.
Like a CRT, a cathode ray tube?
No, it was like a
Or was
30.
it flat screen?
It was like a 32-inch flat screen, which was like back then was like a big deal.
Expensive.
Yeah. So I traded a TV. I had gotten this this camera thing that you recorded on it, and then like it had like a pop-up USB.
Oh yeah, I love those, man.
I think it was just called a flip camera. I traded that,
Yep.
the TV. I think I traded some like roller skates or something along with a bunch of random things.
This is what I have in my garage, bro. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, it was like 5 different things. I drove out to Orlando, and the guy gave me the iPhone for it, and that was my first iPhone. I was so excited to get it.
That's
I had,
more
like-
complicated than going to the pawn shop and trading all those things for what's behind the case.
Yeah, and I did this at like 11 o'clock at night. Super
that's
sketchy.
sketch.
Super sketchy. Drove all the way to Orlando. And my wife will tell you that's not the first or the last super sketchy trade deal I've done.
How many other pairs of skates did you have to trade for things?
No, I didn't have any more skates, but that wasn't even all the things. There was a couple other things too, but I don't remember what they were. Nothing like exciting or anything.
That's a weird trade.
Yeah, it was. I think the guy was just like, oh yeah, I'll get all this stuff and then I'll just sell it all and I'll end up making more money than I would have made on the iPhone, which he probably did.
Right. Yeah.
Probably did.
That's sick. I may be young, but I still remember my first iPod. I had the iPod Touch, the first gen iPod with the silver back.
Nice.
So like that was similar to the iPhone 3GS. They had the silver back, and you could change the background on the lock screen for them, but you remember you couldn't change the background on the home screen for them, so it was a black background.
Yep.
So eventually I went ahead and I had a computer. It was my parents' computer, so I plugged it in and I jailbroke it using, I think it was
I haven't heard jailbreak in a long time.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
Yes. Pineapple.
So I jailbroke
Dude.
using Pineapple just so I could get that home screen wallpaper on my
Pineapple.
iPod Touch. It was the best thing in the world.
That reminds me of hacking my PSP with the Hen app. It was called Hen.
See, my parents never let me have like a PSP or Game Boy or anything.
That was
like
the first thing I ever hacked.
It was my dad's friend who bought me that iPod Touch for my birthday because he knew how strict my parents were when I was younger.
That's
And he
awesome.
kind of like slipped it to me and he's like, "Hey, happy birthday." And that's what started my love for tech and everything like that.
That's awesome.
I think my love for tech started when I got a Sega Genesis. That was my first video game console. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and my parents got me one for Christmas. And yeah, I pretty much still riding that wave. But cool, that was fun. So go ahead and transition into our first tech subject for today, and that is that. So there was a report that came out like a month ago, and it just said that Apple was no longer going to include the charger in the upcoming iPhones. And
Love it.
such an Apple thing, right?
I hate it.
Okay, love it, hate it. There we go.
Polar opposites.
So it was very polarizing, right? There was some people that were like, no problem, don't really care. And then there's people that,
If I'm going to spend $1,000 on a phone, you can include a $40 charger. Just
Right.
saying.
so, usually what happens is Apple will do something like this, like when they got rid of the headphone jack. And then the other companies will make fun of them, like Samsung did, right? So Apple, they got rid of the headphone jack when they did, back in the iPhone 7 launched, I believe. And for like 2 years, every other company was like, we got a headphone jack. And they were like making ads that were making fun of Apple. But then slowly, every year, there'd be a different manufacturer that now they got rid of their headphone jack. And then all of them ended up getting rid of the headphone jack. Well, there was a report that Apple was going to get rid of the chargers. And then shortly after that, there was another report that Samsung came out and said, we're also going to get rid of the charger, but we're not going to do it this year. We're going to do it next year, 2021. So they're staggering it by 1 year. But
I think it's if Apple does absolutely terrible and everybody hates it, that they probably won't do it next year. So Apple's being their test dummy for them.
But
True.
Apple's a trendsetter, and so everybody rides the wave because
Exactly.
it's Big Apple. Kind of hard not to.
So where I'm at on this is so for me, and I get it, I know everybody's different. I know not everybody has 6 or 7 different power bricks, and I want to make sure I make that clear. When they say they're not going to include the charger, they're talking about the part that you plug into the wall.
The little white cubey thing.
Yes.
But they are including the USB
They are
cable.
still going to give you the USB cable. They're just not going to give you the plug that you plug into the wall. Now, I've heard people say that part matters. That, if you can't just... Because you can get those at the dollar store.
Those are so cheap, dude.
They're cheap, but
And they'll set your house on
You
fire.
need to get a good one.
really?
though. Yeah, you got to
Really?
get a name.
That
for it.
actually is a big deal?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
so
I didn't know that was.
The brick has different amperage,
Yeah.
and more amps means charging faster.
So I've never bought one from the gas station.
You
I just
don't.
know that they have them.
You don't.
But like you
Never.
can...
It'll
Okay,
destroy your phone.
but like it'll destroy your phone.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you just
if it's
saying that,
in the-
or is that for real?
No, so if you have a combination of a bad USB cable and a bad power brick, and if it's not sending the correct amount of power to it to charge it, it can deteriorate your battery over time. Now, I
Okay.
mean, like, there could be some keyboard warriors watching this, and they'll tell exactly why. But yeah, if you don't have the correct setup, what was designed for it, it'll hurt your battery. And then, like for example, I got a iPhone 11. I got into a pinch. I had to use a gas station power brick and cable for like a week. I didn't really get in the pinch. I just didn't want to have to go out and fork up the money.
You can just say you're lazy and broke.
Yeah. So I'm lazy and broke, and I went to the gas station instead of like a Target or a Walmart or a Best Buy. And for a whole week, I would plug my phone in. I've been trying to go to bed earlier, so I've been trying to go to bed like at 10 p.m. instead of midnight and waking up at 7 for work. So anyways, go to bed at 10 p.m., I'd plug in my phone for the evening, and I'd wake up and my battery was only at 70%.
Oh, wow.
75%. And brand new iPhone. It's iPhone 11. I mean, like, it's maybe 3-4 months old.
Oh, so this is recent.
Yeah. And when you go into your battery health status, on the general and everything, or on the settings and everything, it was at 100% when I started that week. And then people may say, oh, well, you have that battery optimization where it'll charge your phone to 80% and then it'll charge to the last 20, right before you wake up. So I made sure I turned that off when I was using that cheapo charger. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and keep using it for a week to see what happens. Actually, I was just lazy again and still broke and waiting for the next paycheck. Anyways, week goes by. I open up my phone now, and I'd show you guys if it wasn't being used to record this, but now my battery health is on like 97%. So over the course
That's
of a
quick.
week of using a bad charger, I think that it might have deteriorated it about 3%.
The way that they make the batteries and the reason they give you the power brick that they do is, like you were saying, that combo of the wire and the brick and the amount of amps that it sends and how quickly or how slowly it charges makes a big difference. Like I used to keep all my old power bricks from other things that had USB plugs to plug into the wall. Dude, I chucked those all out because you know you plug in and you're like, okay, cool, I'm at like 23%. I'm just going to tell you, if my phone gets below like 78%, I start freaking out. My thing's plugged in all the time at work. If my phone's in the red, that means like there's been a power outage and I hope there's nobody from Venezuela, but it's like, I'm in Venezuela, dude, and the power's been out and like the junta's taken over or something. It's serious.
So I use wireless on that subject.
Yeah, the
I
QI
use,
stuff. Mm-hmm.
I use wireless chargers for everything. I hardly ever actually plug in my phone.
I wish I could afford a wireless charger.
My truck has one.
So like, I have the 11. I have the 11 Pro Max. Yeah, a lot of new cars have wireless chargers built in.
This guy.
So I have the 11 Pro Max for now. I don't keep phones very long, so I have it for now.
I make a really good deal for a TV and some skates.
And this battery is outstanding. I mean, it lasts forever. But I always keep. I have a wireless charger on my nightstand. I have a wireless charger in my office. So between those two, you know, I'm in my office a lot doing work. So it's usually on a charger. So this thing is hardly ever less. Like right now, it's like at 70%. No, it's at 59. Wow, it's at 59. It's never usually that low because the battery lasts. Like if I use it all day long, between a couple of quick charges on the wireless chargers, I'll still have around 65-70% at the end of the day.
Is it a fast charging wireless charger?
No, well, it's the I don't know if they are. I know one of them should be because it's one of the newer Samsung branded ones. So I think that one is, but the other one that I have is just one from Amazon. So I'm not sure if that one does or not.
When they came out, when Apple came out and said we're not including the power charger anymore,
They haven't come out and said it yet. That's
it's speculation.
it's
It's
heavy
really
speculation.
speculations.
It's like all but guaranteed, but no, they haven't officially.
Is that
said
kind of
it.
one of those things where you have a little questionnaire group and you put out a survey and depending on the response says what we're going to do?
Well, so on that, let me sprinkle on some fire here. So the report goes on to state that this is probably going to happen, and not only are they not going to make the phone cheaper, but they may raise the price by $50.
So
Now
instead
what
of
do you
giving
think?
me a credit back for the little dongle thing that you're not going to include in the box, you're actually going to penalize me for not having it and make me pay for the savings.
Correct.
And pocket the $100.
And the whole reasoning, and the main reasoning that they're probably going to give for this, if they even announce it, I'll be honest with you, I'll be surprised if they even announce it. I think this is going to be one of those things that just happens quietly. And if you don't know about it, then you don't know about it.
You're going to open the box one day and be like, I got the new iPod 14.
I think they're banking on a lot of people not caring, which I believe there probably are a lot of people that won't care about this. This isn't going to be like the headphone jack. I don't think it will be. But
I don't mind the headphone jack not being there
But a lot
until
of
my
people do.
Bluetooth headphones run out of battery. And I'm like, now I got to wait like 2 hours to listen to some music in my headphones.
So, like-
That's to charge up.
So, like, people's arguments on that is that, and I'm a music guy, so I'm in the same camp that they are. But their argument is that Bluetooth headphones don't sound as good as a wired pair, which I get. I'm willing to concede that.
I'll agree with that. Sure.
But I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I've never put my AirPods in and been like, man, you know, I wish I had a wired pair of headphones right now. I've never thought that. Like, it sounds just as good to me.
Try a pair of Bose Quiet Comforts.
I have.
Over-the-ear headphones.
I have. I don't
They're
know.
wireless.
Expensive headphones coming from the dude who bought a gas station plug-in for his phone.
We don't talk about that. So, I'm a big music guy too. go invest in a nice set of wireless headphones. You're not gonna be able to tell the difference. You know, if you're sitting in a studio mixing sound with no noise surrounding you, you're gonna be able to hear the difference. But other than that, you're not gonna hear a difference. You also may hear a difference volume-wise, like AirPods. Actually, I mean those get pretty loud, but like, well, you get what you pay for.
Word.
That's just how it is. Like you can buy a nice set of Bose wireless headphones or even the Apple AirPods or the AirPods Pro. Great sounding headphones compared to a $10 set at Target. The wireless are going to sound way better. So for all the people who complain about that, just fork up some more money for the wireless headphones, man. I mean, like
Trade for a TV with some skates. You got it.
Yeah, there's a guy that I watch on YouTube a lot, and man, he hates Bluetooth headphones, and
What's his name?
His channel
Put you on the spot.
his channel is, he's a great dude. I love his channel. His channel is Painfully Honest Tech, and he just doesn't any chance that he gets, he brings up Apple got rid of the headphone jack. That's like a huge deal to him, and it's like, dude, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I get that it is to you, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really ever was that huge of a deal, and I don't think that the charger thing is going to be even that. It does suck that they're going to raise the price, but
And take something away.
yeah, the reason for that, from what I've been able to find out, is that they're including the 5G technology in these phones, which is expensive. So by removing the power brick and by raising the price $50, they're able to kind of salvage the cost of adding 5G, which is kind of dumb because 5G is not ready in like 99% of markets. I know there's like a very, very select few places like New York City and some other places that you can get a 5G signal and it's super fast. But 99%, more than 99%, 99.8% of the country is just not ready for that technology yet. So
It is future-proof in the phones, though. So
it is future-proof.
4 years from now, when we would be complaining, oh man, my iPhone 12 that I bought back in 2020 doesn't have 5G capabilities, you're still gonna be able to skate.
Boom, now it does.
But I'll concede that. But this isn't the same as when we switched from 3G to LTE. So when you went from 3G to LTE, that was massive. Like 3G, you couldn't even load a web page without sitting there. It was like going from dial-up to high-speed internet when we went from 3G to LTE. When we go from LTE to 5G, yes, it is a big difference, but it's not a game-changing difference. Like you're going to get way faster speeds, but if you have a good LTE signal, it's pretty solid.
I was gonna say, you get what on LTE, 40 megabytes a second download speed?
With a good
While
connection.
you guys talk, I'm gonna look that up.
With a good connection. It depends on where you are. Like right here, it's probably going to be like between 6 and 10, which is still fine. You can still do most everything with 6 to 10. You can't play like a game or anything, but that's a minority issue too.
So for
That-
4G LTE for Verizon, it's saying that your average is between 5 and 12 megabits per second, and then a max of 50 megabits per second.
Mm-hmm.
Now 5G, I think they're going up to 1,000 megabits
Yeah,
a second.
it's over a gig in some spots.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're getting 3 gigabits a second off of 5G. So for some things, that's gonna be a huge game changer.
Back in the day, I could have downloaded every song that I possibly ever wanted in an hour and been done instead of spending days and months and years pirating music. I maybe can't say that, but I just did.
But now you have Apple Music.
We'll beat that.
And I don't need to pirate my music. Like, it's free all over the place. And like, just Spotify and Google whatever I want. YouTube, dude. And like,
All right, so
music's free.
I don't personally care about the charger issue. I'm okay with getting one, and I'm okay with not getting one. I'm still going to get the phone regardless.
I think it's lame not to include it, but when you say that 5G technology is coming, it's more expensive and they're trying to keep the cost down even though it's going up, I get that. If you can explain to me why you took something away and raised the price $50, I understand.
I'm all for them taking it away. I think one thing that I think about is there is only so much material out there that we can make electronics with. So right now, if you think about how many bricks are floating around that are quality, I mean, there's probably gobbles of them.
Mm-hmm.
So why not try to, in my opinion, why not just find a used power brick that still works great from somebody else, then buy a brand new one, or just include one for it to get tossed out. I work in the IT department.
Are you suggesting that Swip Swap is going to have a massive inundation with used power bricks because the supply is going to shorten up? I mean, get in on this now if you want to retire early.
Yeah, who knows? I was gonna say maybe the power bricks are just kind of gonna start fading away. But like, I work in the IT department. We have 270 something employees. Almost all of them have iPhones. We just ordered close to 100 iPhones, brand new iPhone XRs for employees to upgrade them from 6Ss to XRs. And we got so many power bricks and stuff. All the employees still have their power bricks from the 6S.
All right, so now you got.
So now we have extra power bricks. What are we going to do with them?
Put them in a Rubbermaid bin, sell them on the black market, $2 a piece.
If only.
So I did see that, last thing on this subject, I did see that at least if you order it from Apple, I'm not sure if it'll work the same way if you're ordering through a carrier or if you're ordering from like Best Buy, but I believe that if you order the phones from Apple, and there's 4 different iPhone 12s that are coming out. But if you order
4 different models, not just color options.
Yeah, there's 4 different models. So you have iPhone 12, which is going to be smaller than an iPhone SE. It'll have a bigger screen. It'll have a bigger screen than
More
an SE.
viewing area, but smaller dimensions overall.
Yes, smaller footprint.
That's cool. I'm cool with that.
So you have an iPhone 12. You're going to have an iPhone 12 Pro. Oh, no, I'm sorry. iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Max, which is going to take the place of the iPhone 11. iPhone 12 Pro, which will take the place of the 11 Pro. And then iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
So you have four different phones with multiple color options, with multiple gigabit configurations. But what I was going to say was, I believe that if you order it through Apple, there's going to be an option when you're configuring your device to add in a charger if you need one. So it won't come by default, but you could pay. If it's Apple's price, is probably $25 at least. You can pay that to. I'm not saying that's what the price is. I'm just guessing.
Do you know, are they going to leave it as a lightning cable or are they going to go to USB-C?
I do not think they are going to USB-C on the phones. I know that a lot of people want that.
Lame.
There's two things. I don't think they're going to go to Lightning or to USB Type-C, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But they're also the phones, I believe, are going to be. This is weird here. So the iPad Pros, they have ProMotion displays, and what that means is they refresh at 120 hertz. I'm sure you've noticed how smooth your transitions are on your iPad.
I've noticed how smooth they are on yours, and I still feel like mine's lacking.
Dude, it's the
You got
same
some
iPad.
Cool version.
It's the same iPad, man.
That's a lie. We weren't supposed to tell 2 lies, Josh.
All right, so this is 120 hertz on our iPads. The iPhone 12s, all of them, I believe all of them, will all ship with 120 hertz displays, but they are never going to be activated. That's what I heard. They're never going to be activated because, and I could totally be getting this wrong, so someone correct me if I am. But what I believe my understanding is that they are not passing certain tests that Apple needs them to pass, and they're too far into their contracts with shipping them. They've already bought the displays pretty much, So I believe they're shipping with 120 hertz
And they're
displays,
just going to scale them back
and
to
they're
60
never
hertz.
going to be activated. And
So
there's-
120 hertz capable, but not activated.
but not activated.
All right, Pineapple, get out there and do your thing.
I'm sure somebody will figure out how to do it, but yeah. And the reason they're not going to USB Type C, I can almost confirm that that's not happening, is for two reasons. Number one, it seems like they're transitioning iPad into being more of a not really a MacBook replacement, but and this is a whole nother subject that we can get into on another show. But the iPad is becoming more of a either it can be a MacBook, a laptop replacement, not just a MacBook replacement. It can be for some people a laptop replacement, and that's where USB Type C comes in handy because you can plug in external drives, power stations, whatever you want to plug into that's
I was
USB
going to say,
Type C.
it's USB, Universal Serial Bus. There are so many things out there for that compared to Lightning.
Yeah, but that specifically is not really the reason that that the iPhones won't move over to that, because it would be beneficial for them to do that. But what's going to end up happening is I'm going to give this 2 years down the road. It could be next year, but I think it's too soon.
Start the clock.
I do think that we're going to eventually get portless iPhones. I think those will be the first ones to be portless. They won't have a charging solution at all. And if they do, then it'll be magnetic. So you'll like the old laptops, you'll have a magnetic connection if you want to hardwire it, but it'll be all wireless charging at that point. And like I said, I'm going to bet 2 years on that.
I can't wait till you walk into a room and your iPhone starts charging because
Yeah.
they got little wireless chargers in the
I
corners
think they're
of the
going to.
room.
I think they're going to try it next year with one model. It'll be similar to when they switched to the iPhone 10 and they had the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus, but then
I'll
they
drop
had,
all my money
but
on
then
that.
they had the iPhone 10 that was the more advanced one, but that one costs a lot more. I think they're going to try whatever the highest tier model next year is. They're going to try it with the portless option, and then going forward, the following year, all of them will be like that.
It's like
Now,
the beta test. That's
I don't
cool.
know if it'll happen with the iPads. I got a feeling the iPads are going to stay USB Type C, but yeah, that's where the iPhone is going.
Boom. What
And
else you
then,
got?
Okay, so transitioning over into the next topic. Before I do that, I just want to say thanks to everybody that's listening, wherever you're listening at, either on YouTube, on Facebook page. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's our first show, so we're kind of figuring things out, working out the kinks. This is not probably going to end up being the permanent setup. We'll probably add little cool things here and there.
It's the pilot.
And we'll figure out some ways that you guys can support the show if you want to. I don't have that figured out yet, but I'll get there. But for now, I'll just say thank you for tuning in. And if you're tuning in on audio only on Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud or wherever, again, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Big thanks.
Absolutely. So, next topic. This is which topic do I want to talk about? Yeah, we'll go with this one. So this is kind of cool. We'll stay on techie, and then we'll go to another subject after that. So there's been another rumor. And this one here is just a rumor. There's nothing confirmed by Apple, but it's a pretty substantial rumor that has a lot of weight to it, and that is upcoming Apple Glass, which are AR-enabled glasses.
I feel like Matt's trying to signal you like he's got the prototypes, but he can't really confirm or deny
What?
because we don't have a legal team set up at this moment.
So this is probably going to be as revolutionary of a product as the Apple Watch was. And the Apple Watch has become a very, very serious, seriously taken product. It's not a joke product. It's not a gimmick anymore. It wasn't really a gimmick to start with, but
It's not just some lame, expensive accessory.
No, it has a lot of really, really solid and proven health benefits. It's a really good device to have. So I think that Apple Glass, that's what it's called, Apple Glass.
Yeah, so I'm looking it up now for the first time. I think it looks like something like Iron Man would wear. I'm going to drop in a photo right here. And that looks
Yeah.
like a set of glasses Iron Man would wear.
So they're gonna
If you got the hookup with Robert Downey Jr., this is where you have him give you a promo and we can get paid.
Yeah, right.
they're gonna work with your prescriptions, and
Good job, Apple.
they're only going to cost, according to these rumors, $500.
That's super cheap given the strength
It's
of the technology.
It's a first gen product, and first gen products are usually priced higher than what they end up being. a couple years.
$500 is below the floor of where I would expect it. You go out and you even get a designer set of glasses. Like $100 for a set of normal frames is nothing. $200, $250 frames just for regular glasses, let alone not having electronics in them.
So you'll have to pay for your prescription if you need a prescription. But I mean, a lot of people, I imagine, will just
Have
get
insurance. What?
Yes,
Insurance
will cover that part of it.
Yeah. That's crazy. 'Cause
That's insane.
And these are going to project. Keeping it realistic, it's not going to be Iron Man. That'd be sick if it was.
I don't get Jarvis in my ear and in my eye.
It's going to do things like GPS. I imagine it will probably it'll do GPS. Probably display messages. It'll have Siri enabled. I do think we should temper our expectations. I feel like it's going to be. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's not going to be Iron Man.
It's going to be a little lackluster, but it's still going to be cool, man.
It's going to be extremely cool.
Just the fact that it can show your texts, it can show what the
Yeah.
weather is for the day, it can tell you to turn left or right when you're trying to get somewhere. It's
Yep.
pretty sick, and it's
And
a
to
great
be
start.
to be fair, the Apple Watch when it first came out, there wasn't anything that crazy about it. I mean, it was cool. It looked cool. Everybody wanted one, or not everybody wanted one, but a lot of people did.
It was desirable.
But it wasn't what it is now. You look at Apple; it didn't have fall detection. It couldn't read an ECG.
Couldn't go away from your phone.
It couldn't go away from your phone. It couldn't run its own apps, which it could on the second generation. It was super slow.
But it's a first generation. It's
Right.
Let's spend a bunch of money, get it out there, see what the reception is, see how we can make it better. Because if we got
Yeah.
it right on the first go around, who wants to buy the next gen?
So I think Apple Glass is going to be similar. It's going to be tempered at first, and then they will find other cool Iron Man type things to do in the second and third gen. What are your thoughts on it, Matt?
I think it's pretty cool. I'm just kind of glancing through a article right now about kind of some of the things and how it'll connect to your phone. How they assume it's going to connect to your phone. It may not be real.
I
But
think that's a safe assumption. Just like the first go around with Apple Watches, that you're going to have your phone
Absolutely.
relatively close to it for them to work right.
Yeah, and it's saying here that to connect your phone to it, to transfer back and forth 3D imagery out of at least 60 hertz, Bluetooth won't cut it for the bandwidth. So they're saying you're going to have to have a dedicated Wi-Fi connection through the glasses. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can only have one Wi-Fi connection at a time off of iPhones, correct? So that means,
but can it set up a? I'm not sure if if I'm following you, so let me clarify. I know that there's on certain products they'll make like a mock Wi-Fi, like a printer, for example.
right.
A wireless printer will create like a mock Wi-Fi connection
Yeah, so
that
that's,
you connect to.
yeah. So not Wi-Fi as in giving off internet, just Wi-Fi as in it being a specific band of information being
Right.
sent to the phone. Like Apple Watch, that connects with Bluetooth, right, to your
Yeah.
phone. So like GoPros, you turn it on, they create their own Wi-Fi
Actually,
signal.
no, it doesn't anymore. It used to,
Okay.
and it might still.
Don't you have an Apple Watch?
I do, but I don't. I always forget to wear it. when the Apple Watch first came out, it was only Bluetooth. And I could be wrong here, but I believe that it connects through the chip that's in it. The W chip. I believe that's the chip they use. I don't remember which number they're on now, but I believe it connects through a specific chip, because I know on my Apple Watch, it used to be if I disconnected the Bluetooth, it would shut down. But I've noticed that doesn't happen anymore. I still get a connection.
I was gonna say, like, I connect to my GoPro to take a quick glance at videos, just while we're out and about, and it connects via Wi-Fi. And if I hop onto Instagram real quick and I try to go to that, if I wanted to, now I can still watch Instagram because it'll pull my LTE signal. But if I wanted to hop on like Wi-Fi, if I was at home, I would have to disconnect from the GoPro, then connect to the Wi-Fi, like a home Wi-Fi network. So I'd be afraid if you're connecting the glasses to your phone Wi-Fi, and if you're sitting at home. Now, granted, I would assume the glasses would be something for out and about instead of just sitting on your couch. But that'd be something I'd be afraid of, is I'd still want to be able to connect my phone to Wi-Fi where I'm going.
So that's a question I have. Is like, I don't wear my watch everywhere.
Right.
My watch, some people do. Some people wear them to sleep and never take them off until they got to charge them. I don't like to.
That heart rate information.
Yeah, I only, and that's
While
why
you're
I
sleeping.
forget to wear it a lot, is I don't wear it usually unless I'm going out. Are these Apple glasses something that people are going to wear all the time? Like when you get home and like maybe you don't wear glasses normally, you don't have a prescription. Are you going home and keeping these glasses on while you're throughout your day, or do you go home?
Be cool when you're baking.
And it probably will do stuff like that, like show you recipes and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what would be really cool, and this is probably not going to happen with the first gen, but I'm thinking like you have your glasses on, and you sit down at your desk, and you don't have a MacBook. Let's say you don't have a MacBook. You sit down at your desk, and like a virtual keyboard pops up, and a virtual screen
Sick.
pops up running Mac OS, running full Mac OS. And you got a virtual keyboard, and maybe you can connect, this is even crazier, maybe you even can connect something like this, like an actual keyboard, to this virtual environment. And then you got your glasses on, you're using it like a computer at that point.
30 years, start the
You're
clock.
I don't
talking
know,
like
man.
You're from
That
2030.
Really?
Yes.
You think it's that far off?
I don't know, dude, but I'm thinking Tom Cruise is John Pemberton in Minority Report, and he's got the little monocle thing, and he's taking this and he's throwing it to that screen, and he's got these little gloves, and they're touching everything, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Is that the one when they're in the opera house and?
That's the one where the little balls come and they like arrest you because you haven't really committed the crime, but you did. But he had these little gloves. What if you don't even need the keyboard? You just put on some gloves and you're typing
that's how it
on
is.
an air.
Right. That's how I started.
That's sick.
See, I don't think it's that Apple can't do it. I don't think it's that they can't do it.
Somebody dreamt it and put it in a movie, dude. It's coming.
But how do you do it though? How do you? Because you gotta have the space.
You have sensors on the glasses.
Right, but how do you? I get that part, but how do you? What does the operating system run from? Like, is it built into the? I know they make
You got two options: high-speed internet chip in the glasses to pull it virtually and project it there and have like a team viewer view of it, or I'm saying 30 years down the road, we're gonna be able, like the computer that I just built. I'm going to be able to. I can't believe I spent that much money on that computer. That's why I had to.
Gas station USB cords.
Yeah.
That's how you got the money to buy the thing, man.
Yeah.
Choices.
So you're going to be able to take a computer that is that powerful, 32 gig of RAM, a 2 terabyte NVMe, all that information you're going to be able to have on your glasses and just be able to spit out in front of you in the next 30 years. Think about it. Have you seen a micro SD card?
That's what I was gonna say. Like a micro SD card is super tiny.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could almost fit on the glasses you're wearing now.
They make them that are 512 gigabytes now, 1 terabyte.
1 terabyte.
Micro SD
Huge.
card.
And
Getting
it's like
cheap.
the size of like a little SIM card.
Exactly.
You can get a 512 for like $40 right now.
10 years ago, you had a 2 GB flash drive that was that thick, or if you went at 512, you had a tower.
You had a stack. Yeah.
Exactly, and now you can have it there. So it kind of shows you how much was done in 10 years. What's going to happen in 2030?
So we could find a way to put a terabyte or more
storage
little
in
chip in that easily.
They're not going to be as thin and stylish as your glasses
No,
to do all of that. You're gonna have some like Dolce and Gabbana looking big.
They're probably gonna have.
fat earpieces.
They're probably gonna have like 3 or 4 different frame designs. Remember when the Apple Watch came out and they had like the $18,000 version of it?
Yeah. And
Like
then
that actually
different
happened.
millimeters. What was it, like 24 and 30,
Yeah.
32 and 44?
32 and 44 or something like
Yeah.
that. But that actually happened. They actually did that. They sold Apple Watches. I forget what they were called.
Sport, silver, and gold.
Yeah, the gold one was the one that was
14K, or
$18,000.
18K, yeah. It's 14 karat gold or
But
something.
like, that thing is so obsolete now. You can't even use it.
I was going to say, it's obsolete, old tech, and you spent $18,000.
Yeah, but you got your badge on your gamer tag saying owned it. Done. that counts, dude.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah. I think back
Spent
to
$18,000 at Apple Store.
I think back to when I went off to school and I bought my first desktop, right? Yeah. It was a compact Presario, right? Like compact,
Ooh,
right?
compact.
Right? 486 Pentium 2. It was probably like 125 megahertz, right? I can't even remember how small the hard drive was, but it cost me like $1,800. It's expensive.
That's a lot of money.
It was probably about as big as Josh's amp is, like
Yeah.
that's being ridiculous, but you get the point.
Absolutely. It's a big
Today,
tower.
I have this thing that's about the size of my wallet. Sorry, I didn't mean to blind you.
What did you say, Josh? Rob?
It's about the size of my wallet, and it's probably just as powerful, if not more. Most certainly has faster capabilities than that computer.
I was going to say, I think you have like 4 gig of RAM in that.
It's 20 years later, it's superior technology for half the cost for today, in today's dollars.
Absolutely.
Thinking about the first generation of the glasses, they're going to be something cooler that you can't get on the market today, right? Obviously, there's going to be improvements on the second, third, 15th gens from now. What it can do, the standalone capability that it has, will all come along at some point. But because the movies are what they are, and you're like, dude, somebody invented that and it's CGI, you're like, I want to be Iron Man right now today. But at the end of the day, $500 entry level base model projection, right? All speculation. $500 for that is awesome. No matter how short it falls of how awesome you want it to be, it's still cool.
So, go ahead. Did you have something you want to add?
I was just going to say, Rob and I are relying on you, Josh, to buy a pair for
Yeah,
us all.
yeah.
To play
I
with.
will have one when it
We need
comes
to
out.
split up the price in thirds.
I'll even stand in line for you while you go pee and go to Chick-fil-A or
Okay,
whatever.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm still debating whether I'm going to get off subject here. Whether I'm going to get the PS5 or Xbox. I'm almost certain I'm going to get the PS5 at this point.
Good choice.
But yeah, it looks a lot better. All right, so
we can totally talk a whole podcast about that.
yeah, we next
Yes,
next
video
podcast
games.
we'll do video games.
Can we earmark the third podcast for 5 minutes of cars?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Deal.
All right, so these Apple glasses. All right, so we actually have 2 things here. We have the ones that we've just been talking about, but we also have. And I don't know anything about this. This is a wild card here. An Apple VR headset that is positioned to
I've heard
compete.
about that one.
Okay, so you've heard about it. Positioned to compete with the Oculus Quest is okay. This is saying that that's actually closer to being launched than the ones that we're talking about, the AR ones. So the ones that we're talking about, those are AR glasses, augmented reality. So you're injecting things into the real world, but apparently Apple's working on a virtual reality headset, which would be like the current virtual reality options we have now, which is the
But better because it's Apple.
probably. Although the Oculus Quest is pretty sick. That one is pretty sick. But it would compete with Oculus Quest, PlayStation VR, And I guess those are the two main ones now. So Apple is really looking at getting into these headsets. All right. So last question I have is, so looking at this, right? The glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
So does this, long-term thinking here, does this eventually get rid of this?
No.
Eventually. I'm talking like at least 5 or 6 years from now.
I don't think glasses will. I think something like contacts or like an implant would.
Implant.
Yeah, man, a little brain implant that you can just see everything.
You're
Are
transitioning.
you talking
us-
like Inspector Gadget, where he pulls out the antenna from his thumb and he talks into his hand phone? Because
Yeah, something like that, minus the antenna.
You know, I don't know why, but Tom Cruise keeps coming to mind. Not that I'm pimping him or nothing, but like Mission Impossible, he's got the glasses and they've got the little, microphone that goes into the ear. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Like with the glasses, I don't want everybody around me having a conversation and being able to hear it. It's like when the Nextels came out, the two ways, and everybody would two-way direct connect each other. Like I don't want to hear people in the mall.
But I just saw these in Best Buy. Not these, but I saw some they were Bose frame. They're called Bose frames, and they're sunglasses.
Those are cool.
You know what I'm talking about? They're sunglasses.
With like built-in beats.
They're built-in speakers. But the thing is, you can max these things out, and you could be wearing them, and I can't hear what you're listening to.
They vibrate on the side of your head.
Yeah, it's
and the
bone something.
go through
bone.
your bones.
Wait. I have these Bose glasses on. I've
Yeah,
got
here, I'll
them
show
at
you,
max volume.
I tried them out
I'm
at Best
sitting
Buy.
3 feet from you,
Yeah,
and you can't hear a
Like
thing.
I could hear that you're playing something. It'd be like,
but you can't
it'd be
hear
like you were listening
with
to
clarity.
headphones, like loud headphones. You know, someone's listening to loud headphones. You can tell they're listening to something.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
like
don't know
being
what
on a
it
plane
is.
and wanting to sleep, and the dude next to you is like watching his stuff without headphones. It's like, dude, who does that?
Exactly.
Yeah, I tried them out at Best Buy.
Stewardess.
And I put them on, and I had the little demo playing, and they're 180 bucks.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's not bad.
180 bucks. Now they're not. They don't replace headphones. Like
No, but it's cool. It's different.
it's like if you're at the beach
Take a phone call in style.
or you're walking jog down the road or whatever. You don't want to wear headphones. Sun's out. You want to wear your sunglasses.
Sun's out, guns out.
But yeah, these are cool. There they are.
But they don't have a actual.
They have
speaker
speakers.
driver. It's
They have very
sonic off of my bones,
No, it
like
has-
sonar.
Yeah, sort of. It has a speaker too.
Okay.
So are these the ones you've seen?
Exactly.
Yeah. And they have different frames.
They
So-
look like old school Wayfarers. They're
yeah,
cool.
they're like
A little bulky, but.
yeah. No, they're not. I didn't think they were that bulky.
Oh, really?
When I-
Okay.
Have you tried them?
I have not tried them.
when
I've just
I
seen YouTube.
That's
videos
what I
about
thought
them.
too. But when you try, they're not that bad.
Okay.
They don't look any
I mean, they're not
bulkier
as
than
thin
my
as yours.
Costas. They're
But like a standard sunglasses,
Gotcha.
essentially. And so you put them on, and I'd play the demo, and it was pretty loud. Not overbearingly loud, but loud enough to where I could get into it. And I'm like, let me take these off. I took them off. I could tell the music was still playing, but I couldn't. I mean, I could hear it
from like a foot away. There's not
from like as far.
clarity.
Yeah, it's
So you
like
hear
it's like
something
someone
like-
listening to headphones.
You know that there's something going on, but you can't hear. Wow.
So okay, so you
I
remember?
think that's cool.
Field trip to Best Buy.
But what I mean is, like, you remember before the Apple Watch came out, people were making, like, Samsung was making watches,
Yeah.
but nobody was really taking them seriously. They were like gimmicky. Like, this is kind of gimmicky.
Yep.
You know, it's cool. it's
may
cool
or may
to
not.
have.
It's cool. It may or may not catch on.
Yeah,
But Apple won't release something that doesn't last. I mean, well, they will, but they'll put out a decent product.
this is like those watches where people were just kind of trying things out, and then Apple comes around and says, "Okay, you guys have been messing around with this for a while. Here we come. We've been working on this for 6 years now, and here it is."
Hulk smash.
And
We're
it
gonna
does
hit the
all
market.
this stuff plus like way more. But this is cool.
If they took that soundy thing and integrated it into the Apple, right? Mix the two, like fusion, right?
Yeah. That's all this does, though, is audio.
That's cool. But take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. Version 2.0. Yeah, that's cool. Back to your original question: does it replace your phone?
Not these, but
the Apple Glass version. Whatever.
7 or 8.
Whatever.
I'll be
Does
honest.
it replace it? I don't know, man.
I always want to have something in my hand. I will always enjoy having a cell phone, like a walkie-talkie. There's something about a walkie-talkie when we go
Dude,
out
yeah,
to
totally.
the woods where we just still got to use a walkie-talkie, man.
I think that's the natural reaction right now because we don't have them to compare them to.
Can I tell you why we're never going to get rid of the phone? It just hit me when you were like, I always want something in my hand. How are you going to take a selfie with your glasses?
They'll find a way to do it, man.
That's super lame.
I'm on the fence. I think they can. I'm not saying that I want them to. I think that they can. Here's the thing. Apple, I don't believe that Apple likes the I names anymore. That was like Steve Jobs' thing.
I get that.
I see.
So, Steve, that was, all right.
If I was sitting in my kit, that would be a brum.
So when Steve Jobs was heading Apple, everything had an I. You had iPhone, iPad, iBook.
It's the I era.
Yeah. With Tim Cook,
Are we going to be in the Apple era?
we already are. You have Apple Music, Apple Watch, Apple.
I Apple. Do you Apple?
Oh my gosh.
Apple Glass, Apple Pay, Apple Pencil. So I don't think they can change. I think they would have done it already if they could. They can't call this Apple phone.
No, dude.
They can't do it.
They've already launched that
the
brand.
name is
that brand
the
has
name
the
is so powerful, but I think that they want to get away from that name.
It's like when McDonald's stopped being McDonald's and they just had the arches and no name. You still know it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
When you have the Apple symbol, when you have the Apple icon, when you have
Right.
their logo, you know what it is. You
And
don't need the I
and
because everybody's ripped it off.
Right, and it's even harder with the iPad because I could live with this becoming Apple phone, like I'd be okay with that, but Apple Pad just sounds dumb.
Apple Pad sounds dope.
What if
And the iPad is like the only tablet that anyone takes seriously. So it's not like there's other things that.
I think that's
compare it
legit.
to.
I sign on to
What were you
that.
gonna say?
what if you know how they have like the iPhone Pro Max and the
Yeah.
iPhone Max and the iPhone 6S? What if they had your iPhone, the base model, be called like just an Apple phone, and then whatever the superior model? Because like right now they have the iMac out,
Right.
and the iMac, you have the MacBook Pro, you have just the Mac,
Mac
Pro.
Air.
you got the Mac Air, and you just got the MacBook. That's a thin piece of metal, basically. What if you called like the iMac is the Pro one? Because that's what Pro is out right now. So you got like
Well,
an
they have
iMac.
They have iMac Pro.
Oh, do they?
They have that.
Oh, right. The one that's like 50-something thousand.
No, that's the Mac
That's the
Pro.
cylinder. That's the Mac Pro.
50,000.
No, it's not a cylinder anymore. That
Yeah,
was the
you could
last
spec
one.
out a
Yeah,
thing. You get.
I could buy a truck or I could buy a computer.
Yeah. So
50. It's like 60,000. So if you
yeah.
go if you go
if you get
here,
the rack mounted, it goes up to 75,000.
Yeah.
Can I finance it like I can a vehicle for 5 or 6 years?
yeah, you
Yes,
can do it with
you
that
can.
Apple Card. Here it is. It's a cheese grater.
And get
Huh?
this.
That's it. That's the computer.
Guess how much RAM it'll support up to? 2 terabytes. Yeah.
Of RAM?
2 terabytes of RAM.
RAM.
You don't even
not
need your
hard
hard drive anymore. You just do everything off of your RAM, which will be blazing fast.
16 gigabytes of RAM
Huge.
today
Yeah,
is
no, huge.
considered
Yeah.
a lot.
Ideal. 32 gigabytes
It's
is
better.
above, and 64 is kind of the max thing.
Unnecessary for most
Super
people.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
2 terabytes.
2
terabytes.
terabytes.
I don't
of-
need to compete with the CIA or try and data mine things. What do I do with that?
A lot of people
This
use it
computer's
for,
yeah. This
for video
I'm gonna go
production.
back and play Minecraft with
this
it.
this is
Counter-Strike.
overkill for a video production. This is like a the Mac Pro is not is not marketed to really consumers.
Can I ask you a question? That little cheese grater thing that I'm looking
Here, you
at,
want to see the actual design?
it's not aesthetically pleasing.
No, neither was the trash can that they had before that. There was the last model of this looked like a trash can. People call it the trash can Mac.
The
No
cylinder
joke.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
That is
If
supposed
you
to
look
be
at- you
rack
can-
mounted?
No, they have a tower and a rack mount.
Okay.
Yeah, they have two.
So
but
here's the
that's-
tower.
It's a sieve. I grate cheese on that. You weren't kidding. You're
Yeah.
for real.
No, people call it the cheese grater Mac.
Are they fans? Are they just like
No.
tons of fans that are the
No.
size of a quarter?
Nope.
That's what they chose.
Here, you'll love this. You'll love this
I
part.
don't love that.
No.
For
but
60 grand,
but
it
you'll
better
love
look
this.
way cooler
You'll
than
love
that.
this. You'll love this part right here.
Better look like a
Okay,
Ferrari.
you ready?
Hit
We're
me.
off subject now, but it's okay.
I love going off script.
So, you just spent $60,000 on this.
I just committed to 5 or 6 years worth of payments for that. I
So-
don't know why.
but
I've also gotten divorced because
It
my wife
doesn't
hates
come
me.
with a monitor.
Huh?
It doesn't come with a monitor.
$5,000.
The monitor
Doesn't come with a-
is $5,000.
Huh?
Yeah.
The monitor,
monitor.
hold on. The monitor doesn't come with the monitor stand.
This
The
gets
mo-
even better.
I can't even say it with a straight face. The monitor stand.
You've bought a brand new
I will
Porsche
prove
for
it.
$60,000,
You're not gonna
but
believe
it
me.
doesn't come with tires or a steering wheel or a hood. They're all
No,
extra.
The monitor is $5,000. It doesn't come with a stand. I'll prove it to you if you don't believe me. The monitor stand is another $1,000
for a stand?
for a stand.
For a stand?
For a stand.
For a stand?
For
The
a
wheels,
stand.
the wheels. If
On
you
the
want
bus go round and
wheels
round?
on the computer
Instead
are
of-
$700. I'll show
You know
it
where
to
I was talking about achievement badges before to buy into the $15,000 phone? Nobody in their right mind would buy that. Dude, don't get me wrong, dude. I love games. I love looking at Newegg and all that
It's
and,
not
and
mar- it's
building
not-
fictitious
it's
systems
not
that I
for
don't
those
have money or desire for. But what the heck would I do with that?
It's not for us. This computer is not for a consumer.
Does SpaceX own
it's-
5 of these? I mean, they're putting people in
SpaceX
space.
can't afford these. No, seriously, you think about it. Do we spend $60,000 on a Mac, or do we spend $60,000 in fuel for our rocket ship?
You're Elon Musk, dude. You print money.
It's a really interesting product because people do buy it. I don't know how many people buy the
I
60,000.
was gonna say a consumer, Justine. You guys ever heard of
Yeah,
her?
I Justine.
She bought one of these, and I think she got the spec'd out version of it.
Yeah.
And she's just a YouTuber.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you're watching, can you bring your computer in and we'll totally give it over to you for one of the podcasts? So that I can
Justine-
pick your brain on why
Hey.
you spent 60 grand on this.
That's not off the table. Justine was just recently on Viper's podcast. Viper has 1,000 subs. He's a small.
It's okay. Day one, we're inviting you.
She's really cool though.
Setting
saying.
high expectations.
We'll have donuts. Matt will bring you donuts.
I got the donuts.
Oh, he fed her popcorn.
We got popcorn.
Gourmet
donuts, gourmet popcorn.
like the one that you get for Christmas where it's the 3 different kind, the
No,
cheese,
I'm talking
the
like
caramel.
birthday cake flavored popcorn,
What?
ice cream flavored
Well, I
popcorn.
mean, if you know where to go get a $60,000 computer, you know where to go get birthday cake popcorn. I don't.
No, the guy with the 1,000 subs fed that to her.
When you have 1,000 subs, you invent cool stuff like weird birthday cake flavored donuts that we're probably not going to have next week. But when we hit 1,000 subs, we're having birthday cake donuts.
Bet.
You heard it
right.
here first.
All right.
All right, guys, cool.
Yeah, that's. I don't know that I'm going to let that one go for a while. Hey,
Man.
honey, you want to buy a new vehicle, or do you want me to live my dream of having the cheese grater computer?
Man, we got into the sticks with that one.
Sure did.
$5,000 monitor and $1,000 stand.
I don't know how we
Goodness.
got there, but okay. So
We just
Real
went there.
quick. I want to take a quick step, make sure the phone's still recording.
okay. All right, so
And we're back.
with that, let's transition over into so this part of the podcast. This is like the unique part of our podcast. So we're going to talk to you about tech. We're going to talk to you about video games. We're going to talk about cars, I guess,
Cars.
briefly,
Vroom, vroom.
Automotive.
like a side segment.
Not like McQueen and Tomater, like automotive.
But this is the unique part of our show where I want to talk about something that's Christ cultures because we're Christians. We're not going to beat you up with Christianity or preach to you or anything like that. But
We're just normal people, man.
more normal people. But what I want to talk about is I want to have a discussion about a Christian band versus Christians in a band.
There is a difference.
So
Huge difference.
when I was in my teen years, I played in a band with Stephen Simons and Stephen Foster, and those are two guys from our church.
Wait a second. I got to stop you there. It's Stephen Simons.
What did you think it was?
Simmons.
Simons.
I always thought it was Simmons.
No,
It's a Y.
It's Simons.
Yeah, like S-Y-M. Simmons.
Ah,
It's Simons?
Simons.
That sounds way better than what I thought it was. Sorry, Stephen and the Lord. I hope they don't watch this far in.
Mind blown.
This is the part they were wanting to watch.
Oh, wait, it was. Hey, Stephen, we're going to have to talk about that. Actually, I'm glad you said that because Stephen texted me about this topic earlier, and he's like, I could talk about this for hours. So I think we should bring up this topic in a couple months and have Stephen come on as guest.
Sounds good. We'll do that.
You'll be the one introducing him.
Stephen Simmons.
Sorry, Mr. Simon.
All right, so I was in a band
Wish you were here.
a long
Thought we
time
were
ago
friends.
with Stephen Foster and Stephen Simons.
Hey, I know that guy.
Not Alora Simons, but Stephen Simons. And so we played. We fell into a category called post-hardcore, but we'll call it screamo for
Obvious reasons.
sake of being easy. So we played screamo, but I don't know what you would categorize as us as. I mean, I guess. What is a Christian band versus Christians in a band?
Man, I got this. I love this topic. I absolutely love this topic because one of my favorite bands is a secular band, but it is Christians behind it.
Which band is it?
It's a husband and wife band. They're called Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. It's Drew Holcomb and Ellie Holcomb, who are the writers of all the music, and then they have their band, and their band.
I thought
is
you said
called-
Drew Hulk Hogan.
Oh no, Holcomb.
I'm waiting
H-O-L.
for him to tell me that they're post-hardcore
C-O-M-B.
screamo.
No, they are a folk band. So they go way back. And if you don't know Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, I encourage you to check them out. That's Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. Who knows? Maybe we'll see this. I've been to one
Yeah,
of their
we'll
concerts.
have donuts for you too.
Yeah, if you guys want to come, that'd be
Krispy
sick.
Kreme donuts, not
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts.
So I got
Gourmet donuts.
Oh yeah, gourmet donuts. So I got two bands that I'd like to address that are Christians, but they identify as a secular band.
Now, is that a bad thing?
No, but it's a distinction.
So here, I'll step away from Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors and jump to the second band. Have you guys ever heard of Need to Breathe?
Yeah, Need to Breathe. Mhm.
Okay, so Need to Breathe is a secular band, but
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Every song I've ever heard from them is a Christian
is
song.
a Christian song, right? So they have a couple of Christian albums out, but
Oh, so they have other albums that aren't necessarily a
that,
Christian
exactly that are
I did
very
not know that.
secular and very folky.
Okay, I knew they were folky, but I didn't know they had secular albums.
Yeah, so you guys know the Rolling Stone magazine,
Yeah.
right? That's a pretty big magazine. Anyways, they were interviewed in there, and I have the article up in front of me, and there's this really cool section out of there that says Need to Breathe or something of an anomaly. In the current pop music landscape, despite an absence of mainstream radio support, the Charleston, South Carolina band has built a massive live following. Then it goes into saying, where is it? There's a section in here that says, yes, though frequently tagged as a Christian rock band because of their initial success in Christian radio markets,
Right.
Need to Breathe resists that categorization because of the challenges it presents to non-evangelical listeners. So they really want to target people who may not be believers in Christ or who may not know who God is or what the gospel is or what the Bible says. Now, all of their music shows that. but they don't categorize themselves as that. So in Spotify or other music platforms that you listen as, they can still pop up in other people's feed.
Okay, so that's not to interrupt you, but that's a point that I wanted to bring up. I hear a lot of these artists that say that, like, we do Christian music, but it's almost like they're saying, I know they're not saying this, but what it comes off to me as, we're a Christian band, but we don't want people to know we're a Christian band, so that we can pop up in like the rock charts or the folk charts or the blues charts or whatever genre of music. And I've always just been kind of like on the fence on that, because to me it's like, it kind of goes with your faith. Like if you're a Christian band, or you're saying that, or you play Christian music, then why would you not want that to be put out there?
Yeah. So I'll give a little backstory about what I think about that. I grew up through the church. I grew up in a Presbyterian church since I was born. When I was born, my mom searched for a church, found a church, and I spent the first 15 years of my life at this one specific church. I really enjoyed it there. Anyways, I turned 16, I got my license, I started doing my own things. I started working, I mixed a lot of sound, and then I started traveling. I was mixing sound for these bands that just whoever would hire a 16-year-old kid to mix sound, or whatever company would subcontract me out to mix sound for somebody. And I started going down this path of being out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning mixing for these bar bands.
You rebel.
Yeah, making really decent money, but these were people who were, doing drugs and definitely not having a positive impact. Definitely not
worldly people, what you'd expect out of rock and roll bands.
Yeah, at 2 in the morning. Anyways, that all started happening. Now, I never got into drugs or drinking or anything like that, but I started going down this path of, I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to work. I'm going to get money. And it was really good money for being a 16-year-old kid.
Right.
It allowed me to buy a gas station USB charger. No, anyways.
Work hard, kiddos.
Yeah, so anyways, I went through that path, and I started turning away from God almost. I just said, I'm going to do me, and I'm going to put church on the side of things, and this is the music that I'm going to listen to, because this is what I have to work for. And then I found this band called Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, and I really like that old folky kind of style music. But if you go back, there's a lot of folk music that's kind of, you may not think it, but it's more on the side of things, like you got some of Bob Dylan's old music and stuff like that, and that's definitely more on the not Christian side of things, kind of saying how bad the world is and how bad politics are. Now, I mean, there's definitely some beautiful music out there, but there's also songs that definitely aren't glorifying to God. You go look at this band, Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. I was listening to them, and at this point, I was just enjoying music and just living my life how I wanted to live it. So if this job opportunity came up, I would kind of chase after that. And anyways, listening to Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, there are a handful of songs that came on, and then I was like, man, I really enjoy these songs. So I dived in deeper to figure out who these artists were. Found out that they were Christians on top of that. And I was like, wow, you can write some really cool music, that's uplifting, positive, has a good message, can still hit you emotionally, and still be a Christian and not have derogatory terms or something that bashes somebody else. And I was like, wow, you can be cool and you can be a Christian. Because, there were a lot of times if I would walk into a place and I would show that I was a Christian, if I prayed before I ate, with these people, they would laugh at you. They would put you down. And that, you feel so out of place.
Yeah, you stuck out. You were different.
Exactly. So it was really cool, and there's just always been a personal thing with me now since that has happened, because of a select few of bands, it kind of redirected me to where my faith lies. So
I wanted to read this real quick on the same subject, what you were just talking about. So there's a song that we were going to do a few weeks ago that I still want to do because I love the song, and it's by Aaron Gillespie. So do either of y'all know who Aaron Gillespie is?
Yeah, you sent the song to us the other day.
But do you know who he is?
No, no idea.
Do you know who he is?
He's a dude.
Okay, so Aaron Gillespie is the drummer from Under Oath. Y'all know who Under Oath is?
Yes.
Under Oath is they're a metal band. They're a really well-known metal band. Anyway, Aaron Gillespie is the drummer. They're from Tampa, and they were always, up until a few years ago, labeled a Christian band. And Aaron went off on his own, and he formed a band called The Almost. And they were still, I don't know if they were really labeled a Christian band, but they had Christian lyrics. And then Aaron went on his own completely away from everybody else, and he recorded a worship album many years ago. And that's where that song came from. And if you listen to that live one that I sent you, it's very powerful the way that he gets through. You did listen to it, so you heard it. You heard it. So here's this article, and he's being interviewed, and the interviewer says, in the past, he's talking about the Almost. In the past, the Almost was labeled as so they were labeled as a Christian rock group. Do you still consider the Almost to be Christian rock or religiously inspired music? And this article was from October of last year. So his answer is, so I grew up in a Christian home, and initially for a long time Under Oath was a Christian band, and I wanted to transfer that to the Almost and play that type of music. But as you get older, your views change. You go, wait a minute, do I believe in this? Do I believe in the way this institution is ran? I definitely have spiritual belief, but I don't really believe in organized religion at all anymore. That's a place that I got to over a lot of deliberation, a lot of thought, and a lot of study. I'm just not religious. And I think when you say, I'm in a Christian band, or you even say, like, I'm in a vegan band, or I'm in an anything band, you alienate the other people. And I think the scariest thing in our country and the scariest thing in the world is exclusion. I feel like exclusion is dangerous, and we experience that now as Americans. There's people and groups in America who experience exclusion. It's sad and it's gross, but I feel like music especially should be one of the places you can go to for complete inclusion. You should be able to take something and go, oh, this is for me, or oh, this isn't for me. And I think that already deciding that before you even put it in the store or put it on Spotify and Apple Music is super dangerous. I don't think music has a faith. Music is music, and for me, that's the reason.
Without getting super preachy, and you said we weren't going to preach, but I'm going to allow him to be an individual human being and to plant his flag where he did, and to have doubts and not follow structured religion as it stands today. And you can go for hours about that subject alone, right?
Right.
If I go back to the original question of Christians in a band versus a Christian band, right? I think of Christian bands, Newsboys, DC Talk, For King and Country, things like that where you listen to the words and they speak to religion, spirituality, God, Jesus, things that you would hear in a contemporary worship service on a Sunday or at a youth event, right? And then I think of Christians in a band like Skillet or 1,000 Foot Crutch. Oh man, I typed somebody else out the other day. Fireflight. maybe possibly Decipher Down, although I would consider them to be a Christian band, not Christians
So
in a
like
band.
Skillet, I would put. So to me, Skillet and Thousand Foot Crutch
Christians
would
in
be
a band.
no, they would be a Christian band, because to me,
But their words and their lyrics don't immediately, if you are a secular person, if you aren't churchy on a Sunday, do you immediately, without reading that they're Christians,
no, but
know that they're...
but most of their songs are written. So
I read them that way because
Right.
I choose to, but if I didn't
that's what,
know
but
that...
that's what makes it though, because their lyrics, they're smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some Christian rock bands, and I'm guilty of it.
Switchfoot.
I have a hard time with it.
Switchfoot's Christians in a band?
So yes, that's a good example. Switchfoot is Christians in a band. So when I write a song, a Christian song, I have a hard time writing it in a way to where a non-Christian could get something out of it. I mean, not that they can't get anything out
Without
of it.
smacking them over the face with
Yes.
God and Jesus in the
so
lyrics.
like Skillet is smart about it. They write their songs to where you can be on either side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Christian, you get a Christian message from it. If you're not a Christian, you get a relationship type message from it. Like
These
your
guys are
spouse-
hardcore rockers.
Yeah, or it's I relate to it because it's about my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever. If you're a Christian, I can clearly see that this is about Jesus or whatever. So when that happens, to me, that's a Christian band.
With smart lyrics.
Correct.
That appealed to a wider audience.
Right.
Okay.
So let me ask you this now. So you both heard the song, powerful song. Now you hear this article. Do you still like the song?
The article and the song don't go together. You should,
Okay.
for sake of the audience, you should say what the song is so that they can go and listen, and after hearing what you said, put the two together.
What do you think?
Yeah. When was the song written?
There's not a wrong answer.
And but when was that song written and when was that article written?
The article was 2019. The song came out in 2009.
So the song's older. So the song
At least
was
10,
written.
10 years old.
The song was written when he believed.
Yeah.
And when he had that relationship with Jesus Christ and God. So I think the song is just as powerful.
I don't think it takes away from the song. His perspective could change, just like my perspective when I was 9 is now different when I'm 39.
What happens when, and again, there's not a wrong answer or a right answer. I'm just curious. What happens if, let's say we play the song on a Sunday, and it's a great song. We knock it out of the park. Let's just say we hit a home run, and someone in the crowd's like, I like that song a lot. Let me go look it up. Oh, it's by a guy named Aaron Gillespie. I'd never heard of Aaron Gillespie before. Let me go check him out.
I get where
And
you're
then
going.
we go down the rabbit hole and find out that, I mean, he's not an atheist or anything. He just doesn't believe. He just doesn't believe the same that we do anymore.
I hear you.
Is that a problem? And again, there's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious.
If there was a Facebook relationship status, it would say it's complicated because it's a complicated answer. I hear what you're saying. The song as a standalone is powerful,
Yeah.
and it speaks to what I would speak to in a worship song as a Christian. Reading that article and then thinking about where his mindset was for further production and lyrics,
Right.
I would find it hard without understanding some background, like the article.
Right.
On,
And
on
how
the
many?
transition.
How many people does this happen to? Probably not many. Maybe none. Maybe none. But it's. What do you think?
I
That's
think
a
like
tough
Rob said, man, I like these questions where it really makes you dive in. It's a complicated answer, and I don't think there is a right answer, just like you were saying. I think it's important though. You know, you hear the whole thing going on with, oh, do we play Hillsong or do we play Bethel in our church because of how some of their songs, like Oceans, how there are lines in there that may not line up with Scripture, and then you think, well, man, do we play this music or not? Because there are certain verses of the songs that do line up with Scripture, and then certain verses that may not line up with Scripture. And then it's really cool. Have you guys dabbled in any of that? like about the song Oceans or some of Bethel's music.
There's a song, and I can't remember who it is right now, but the song goes, the lyrics go, "You haven't failed me yet." And I hate the yet part in it because it's God, right? And he's never going to fail me. And so when you say yet, it's like, well, this hasn't happened
Yet. It could happen. You're putting a possibility there.
And so here it is, this worship song that we've sung on a Sunday, and it's "You've never failed me yet," but it's like the yet part gets me. And so honestly and truly, like super kind of lame, but I don't sing the yet part on a Sunday. I refuse to because you said we weren't going to get preaching, but I'm totally going to get preaching.
No, you're good.
You're going to make me look it up, dude. You've never failed me yet.
I got the song on the tip of my tongue here.
Oh man,
It's an elevation song.
Yes.
I know it is. Is it "Oh Come to the Altar"?
No.
Is it "Sea of Victory"? Is it "Awesome God"? Is it?
No.
it's
We gotta call Bobby.
It's "Do It Again."
Do It Again.
Worship.
Do it
Yes.
again. There it is.
Walking around these walls, I
Yes.
thought by now they'd fall.
But it's that part where it says yet, and if you think about Scripture and the promises of God and that He will never forsake you and He will never give you up, the word "yet" is actually really inappropriate, in my opinion. So when you're talking about
Agreed.
lyrics and
That's
words,
interesting.
when you say that there's things, I've never actually thought about the lyrics of Oceans, but things that don't line up biblically.
What part of Oceans are you talking about? I'm very familiar with the song.
Absolutely. Let me look it up.
So while you're looking it up, sidebar here, but on the same subject. When I was leading worship in me and Becca's youth group, our youth pastor, who is her grandfather, he had a problem. It's not that he had a problem with it. I shouldn't say it that way. He had issues anytime we did a song, and it would be a totally Jesus song, but like it would say something like, "I want to be with you," talking about Jesus, but it doesn't specifically say Jesus. It just says, "I want to be with you." And his issue with that was that, well, that's something that I could sing to my wife, which, okay, fair enough. That's true. But most of us knew that we're talking about Jesus here, right? So, I mean, that it's kind of the same thing. So to end that story, the way I got around that was I just added Jesus in at the end. So I would just say,
Yeah.
I want to be with you, Jesus. There
See,
we go. Problem solved.
I think you have to be smart about the lyrics. You know, I think, you know, I'm a firm believer in like "Need to Breathe" and Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors.
Right.
I think Christians in a band that plays secular music, but that adds biblical references is amazing. I think it is an amazing thing. Now, I think if you are in church, I don't think you should be playing music like that. I think you should be playing biblically sound music. Like Rob, you were saying, you refuse to sing yet.
That's a personal choice. I'm not knocking anybody at Elevation for their choice of lyrics, but
Absolutely.
It's a valid point, though. Like I've never thought about it.
It doesn't align for me personally, and if other people don't have issue with it, I'll speak my opinion if somebody wants to hear it, but otherwise, I'm not going to go and beat people to change lyrics.
Absolutely. Well, I think the most important thing in a church is going straight out of the Bible, because
Amen.
That's what God has given us. So it says in the Bible, He will never fail us. And if you throw in "yet," I get how it lines up with the song, but I've never thought about that one before on that song, because I don't listen to that song that often. I know we've played it before,
Yeah.
but that's extremely interesting. So I think going into songs, I think something that's so important for churches to do is go through the lyrics with your Bible right next to you and read about the song. Oceans, I'm having a hard time finding the section that this person was talking about. I pulled it from somebody else's kind of talk. And anyways, one person was saying a certain verse says this and how it doesn't line up biblically. But that verse was really up for interpretation. This person who was giving the review on it, saying, hey, this is how it's not biblically sound, interpreted lyrics one way. And I was scrolling through the comment section of the YouTube video, and if I can find the YouTube video, I'll put a link in the thing. But then there's another person who interpreted the lyrics completely different, and it was showing God's grace and mercy to us. And I was like, wow, it really goes into perspective. And then you start thinking about the song, well, if it's a perspective thing, I think in a church that you should play music that is, like I said just a minute ago, extremely biblically sound, where there's no interpretation up for question, or there is no interpretation about the lyrics. So I think that song may fall more on the side of Christians in a band. But granted, it says, you call me out upon the waters, the great unknown where my feet may fail. It's referencing God. You call me. You is God. And it says, Spirit lead me. And
Is it not referencing, to me it references when God called, or not God, when Jesus, not Jesus is God, but when Jesus called Peter out onto the water. That's what I vision. You call me out upon the waters. Well, Jesus called, that was a test to Peter, because Peter said, Lord, is that you? I can't tell. There's a storm here. I see someone coming out of the water, and I'm freaking out because I don't know what's happening here. And Jesus said, it's me, it's Jesus. Well, Peter responds with, if it is you, tell me to come out onto the water with you. Just let me make sure. That's how Peter was. So, Jesus said, okay, come on. And he got out into the water, and at first, he was able to do it. But by the time he got a little bit, you're on the water, you're still holding on to the boat. So if you start feeling crazy, you can jump back in. But after you get 10 feet out, it's like, whoa.
Don't look down, bro. Don't. Oh,
And as soon as he did that, he fell. So there you go. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown where feet may fail. That's the vision that I've always gotten in that opening line.
When I think about lyrics, right? Like when you're talking about writing lyrics that from a Christian perspective, what the lyrics are referring to and what it's talking about. But if you are a non-believer, secular, worldly person, you think it's a cool song. It's got a good beat. It's got a good hook. The words make you think about your situation in life, whatever it sings to you, right? There are certain songs where they could have dual purpose with the lyrics.
Absolutely.
Appeal to secular people and appeal to Christians, that I wouldn't mind necessarily playing in church, maybe not on a Sunday to open service, but I wouldn't mind playing it at a youth event or just as a opener to an event somewhere, but I wouldn't play it as an opener to service.
Right.
But I also would never think about coming in and playing a truly secular song, Breaking Benjamin, or...
But I like Breaking Benjamin.
I like Breaking Benjamin too, but I wouldn't play it because it has no relevance to this place, to this piece of property, to this house. And so I think...
I played a Linkin Park song one time. It wasn't at church, but before me and Becca got married, I did a concert the week before, and we did a bunch of Christian songs, and then we sprinkled in a Linkin Park song that was from their...
In your set list, how do you sprinkle in Linkin Park? You just kind of throw it in, dude.
Yeah, well, it was one of their soft songs.
Okay. I'm just thinking of the transition like we did on Sunday where it's upbeat and it's like we need to bring the tempo down.
We started out with a Red song. I remember that. We started out with a song from Red, which actually turned out pretty dope. It was a pretty good cover. And the Linkin Park one was good too. Anyway, we did a Red song, and then we did a Matthew West song that my wife really liked at the time. I think she still likes the song. When I Say I Do. And then we did one of our own songs, and then we did a song from another local band in our area. I love covering other local bands, just so you both know.
It's awesome.
Like other local bands in our area, I love covering songs.
We still got to check out that one song,
oh man, Loyal Worship song.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we did Linkin Park song. We didn't announce it as a Linkin Park song. We just went into it, and it was the.
Is it like a B-side song or is it something?
No,
it's
the song we
popular.
did was Iridescent. I think that's how you say it. Iridescent. It's off of
Iridescent.
Iridescent. Thank you. It's off of
This
the.
guy.
Yeah, it's off of the. Hold on.
Meteoria.
No, it's off their. This album is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's because it's so just weird and different. It's A Thousand Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's off that album. And we did the song. I thought we did it really well. And Trimman, who was a youth pastor, he didn't listen to nothing that wasn't secular. So he had no idea. He didn't know what a Linkin Park song was from Adam.
Did he assume it was a?
Bro, man,
A
we got done
religious
with
song?
we got done with the song. He's sitting in the back.
He's like, we're playing that this Sunday.
Yo, the song dies out, which is the end of the song, the song fades out, and all you hear is, "Hey, I like that one." And we were like, "Really? You like that one, huh?"
I ain't never heard that one before.
It's by this band called Linkin Park.
Maybe you've never heard of them.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, that's funny.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I totally hogged what you were saying.
No, I don't even know where my train was going. It was probably derailing. That's okay. You probably saved me. It's okay. Interesting. I'll say that I changed my view on how I define Christians in a band and a Christian band because I was like, the definition to me is lyrics. They either scream and smack you in the head, Jesus, God, religion, culture, or Christians in a band who just don't use profanity and they don't sound like Eminem, and they have cool songs that are marginally uplifting, but they don't talk about God. But then I think about, Skillet's, something recent for them is Anchor, right?
Anchor's a great song.
Anchor's a great song.
Love that song.
And if you are secular, worldly, you don't do anything about church and you don't think about the song that way, it's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it from our perspective, it's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart choice of lyrics.
And it's hard to write that way.
Super
It's hard.
super hard to write.
It's hard to. It's easy to write one way or the other. It's hard to write where you're good on no matter which side you're on. If you're a Christian, okay, that's a faith-based message. I'm not a Christian. I don't know anything about church. Never been introduced to Jesus or whatever. Oh, that's a great song I can sing to my wife or my husband or whatever.
If you were to take this podcast and label it as a Christian podcast,
Christians in a podcast.
Or Christians in a podcast. You're going to be on certain channels. You're going to appeal to a certain audience. Certain people are going to look at the word Christian in the title and be like, I don't want to hear what those dudes have to say.
And then they would miss out on our awesome talk about the Apple glass.
Absolutely. But before I was all in and on fire, I would have been that. I was like, I had Christian neighbors, right, that were, in my opinion, in my assessment, and I never really talked to them a whole lot, they were Jesus freaks. They were at church every Sunday. They were at Bible study. The kids were in
And
youth group.
Jesus freaks being a good thing.
Yeah, oh no, I don't mean it as a derogatory, but I labeled them as Jesus people, and they were boring, straight-laced, and I didn't want anything to do with them because they were boring. And I'll tell you, I was really wrong. I bet you, their last names are the Baileys. For the life of me, I can't remember their first names or the kids, but I bet you the Baileys were super cool people. Because I look at my life now and all of the fun things I'm doing like this and crashing Denny's at 1 a.m. and going to Millennia for donuts and like all of the things that I've had the cool opportunity to do with my Christian family and my church family and just in my own day in life of how I carry myself, my life's not boring. Don't get me wrong. I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, I play with my dogs. That's boring. But the things that I do and the way that I do them are no more boring than they were when I was a worldly person. And so my whole point, if I looked at a Christian podcast that was advertised as Christian podcast, I wouldn't listen to it for the fact that it had that one word label. But if I knew that there were, just like we are now, Christians in a podcast, and you're going to talk about stuff that me as a worldly person has an interest in, I'll listen. I'll let you sprinkle some Jesus on me every once in a while. It's okay. I can either choose to tune it out, fast forward it, let it soak in, wash my dishes in the background or not, but it's still there.
Yeah.
That's-
And we'll always put this part of the podcast on one side of the show. That way,
You can fast forward if you want.
If it's
That's a
not
choice.
if it's not something you're into, then you don't.
You know what? If it's not for you, thanks for listening to the rest of it.
It's not going to be like a YouTube ad where it's just in the middle of something else.
Yeah, because then when do you know when to fast forward?
Yeah.
You got to throw some, but you got to keep them guessing those. So you got to throw some Easter eggs in every once in a while.
Yeah. But going to that thing where that Christian thing labels it, I have a friend, not a Christian, enjoys our music, enjoys,
Our music like on Sunday.
yeah, like on Sunday.
That's because we got talented musicians, minus the guy behind the spit shield.
And the
Enjoy-
bassist, I don't know about him.
His new amp's really obnoxious, so loud. Rumbles my phone off my kick drum. Come on.
Got to get some gaffer tape for that. Really enjoys Tunes In Live. This game a couple of times, but Tunes In Live
That's huge.
to catch the first half of the music, and the last song. Doesn't really watch the message. Same thing goes for Wednesdays. Every now and then we'll tune in for a Wednesday, and I think, man, and we'll come on a Sunday. When they come on a Sunday, they get roped into having to sit through the whole service, and they get a little bit of something sprinkled on there, man. And I'll tell you, who knows? He's probably gonna watch this, and he'll know. But there's something to be said about having that, and then having them just get a little bit of the word sprinkled in between the two. Because the thing that scares me the most is dying and going to heaven,
Yeah.
not having one of my best friends there with me that I live life through.
Yeah.
Which just hits me hard. But anyways, to be able to have music that can direct it. Now I think if you're gonna, play some music where it's not straight up like Skillet, I think in between songs you gotta have a heart to heart with the audience, saying, hey, this is why we wrote the song and this is what the song is about. And there's something to be said for having a heart to heart with somebody. That's what I love. I love, if I could ever play in front of 40,000 people, every single show, there would be a good 15-minute section of just a heart-to-heart conversation or something like that.
Absolutely.
It interested me maybe 2 years ago. Might be 2 years ago. Skillet came to town. They played at the Amway Center.
Dude, Skillet puts on such a show.
And we got tickets to that. And for King and Country opened, and I had never really listened to them, Dude, they put on a show. It was great. Skillet, if you like rock music, whatever, post grunge, hardcore, whatever you want to label them as, they put on a great show. If you only thought of Skillet as a mainstream radio band, and you got there a little early before their set and listened to King and Country, you got some Jesus thrown at you, right?
Yeah.
It made me wonder, and I wonder right now, how many secular worldly people came and got
For
that.
Skillet.
Came for Skillet, but got that in addition to, whether it was a song or a mention of, or they just heard it as background noise. But the person you're speaking about, where they listen to the first songs and the last song, while they're missing the word, they're still getting some sprinkle of the song and the uplifting encouragement that it provides. Whether they're accepting it and realizing it or not, it's still hitting them. Like, it's still there. It's no less effective. Yeah, I don't know. That's
And
just me.
Skillet is one of those bands that you could hate rock music. You can hate it. Don't like it at all. But you go to a Skillet show, you're going to have a good time.
Dude, they put on a great show. You know who else put on a really good show that I would go see anywhere in the country if COVID wasn't happening and I didn't think that I was going to catch some weird funk on a plane?
Slipknot.
You can
P.S.
go to a Slipknot concert with a mask and not be a weirdo.
P.S. Slipknot puts on a sick show. Let me tell you.
I've seen some of their live only on videos, and it's interesting. I don't feel like I would fit in a Slipknot concert.
It's
I would-
different.
I would go see David Crowder. David
Crowder's
Crowder
awesome.
put
All day.
on
We'll go.
Awesome show.
Yeah, David Crowder's awesome.
Ron and I saw Newsboys in Savannah, and they played for like 2.5 hours. Dude,
Yeah.
like for older dudes, they
You're
put
like Rush.
they're like
Disney,
Rush.
bring back Night of Joy.
Yes.
Please bring back Night of Joy.
And if you're a promoter
Disney,
with a stage, and you
we
have
know you're
access-
watching this podcast. We know you are. We need you. We will give you donuts.
We have donuts.
Krispy Kreme. They're not Dunkin'.
Matt will bring donuts.
We just need you to bring back Night of Joy, please.
And if you like-
all three of us will go. That's 3 tickets.
If you like maple bacon, you can have my maple
3
bacon.
guaranteed tickets.
To
All
Night
right,
of Joy.
so
Nice.
we got it, guys. It's gonna be happening.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going to bring it back next year, 2021.
Prophesy. Done.
I mean, Bob Iger called me today, and he said, "Hey, I just want
We
you
were
to-"
only supposed to tell
He
one
said,
lie, Josh.
I just want you to know, I've been looking forward to this JMR podcast all week, and I'm tuning in tonight."
I'm just going to tell you that I am the only person to sit at this table tonight to tell one lie. The rest of you have told multiple lies all night.
All
Fact
right.
check. Play it back.
Any last, we'll call it last words here
Last
before
call?
we wrap up.
Yeah. I had fun. I enjoyed the topics, even though some I was more opinionated on than others. But I like this. You can feel free to throw in a "sounds good, guys" when we talk about automotive. Vroom, vroom.
I'm gonna,
Heck
I'm
yeah.
gonna chime in with yep,
Moving on.
sure
we need-
sounds tough.
We need a little button that's like clapping in the background.
Josh's gonna have crickets queued up, like, and nobody cares. Moving on.
Cars.
Last thoughts, Matt.
I'm so stoked that we're able to do something like this, and just get to talk about some really cool topics. I love talking. I also love listening. So, podcast is really fun, and I hope whoever's watching this that you just kind of enjoy it, and that you can chime in and put something down in either like a comment section or something, or send us a direct message on Facebook, just so we have other topics to talk about that you guys may be interested in.
Like donuts. Send pictures of the donuts you're eating while you're listening to the podcast.
Yes.
So we're gonna try to do this, I believe, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
So we film on Tuesday. So I'm not sure what the actual release schedule is yet, but it should be the same every week. So
We'll figure it out.
bi-weekly.
Sweet.
And then next podcast, we will discuss some gaming stuff. We got Xbox Series X and PS5 coming out, so we'll talk about that.
Series X is a super lame name.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Apple and changing from I fill in the blank to not doing that, you should just get rid of Xbox.
And we'll have another Christ-based message as well somewhere, but I'm not sure what we'll talk about. I've got an idea for it, but I'm still chewing on it. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace out.
Peace.